Param Purusha gets his work done through you. Sri Sri Anandamurti. Something that is vast, but is still within the scope of measurement is called Vishala. Is called Vishala. In Sanskrit, even though the Himalayas are immense, they are still be measured. That which is difficult to measure is termed as Brihat. Param Purush is called Brihat. Because the human Param Purush is called Brihat because the human mind is always disappointed when it attempts to measure him. Actually, it is not enough to call him Brihat. He is such a remarkable entity that whoever comes near him becomes as great as him and is made his own. Not only he develops all the entities into his lab, but he also makes them lose their individual identities in him. They become absorbed in him. That is why he is called Vipula. And he is Vipula, he is also called Brahma. Had he not possessed the quality of Brahma, others as great as himself, we would have called him Brahma. Brihat. We would call him Brihat. But certainly not Brahma. If he wants to maintain the sanctity, means sacredness, pious sanctity of his name, he is compelled to make his names. He is compelled to make his devotees who mentioned on him, who ideate on him, as great as himself. Devotees call him Brihat and also address him as Divyam. Divyam means possessing divine powers. What is divine power? The physical forces we use in our daily lives is known as energy, electrical energy and mechanical energy. This energy is nothing but the physical force, and unless guided by the intellect, cannot work independently. The electricity formed in clouds is wasted in most cases because no intellectual being such as the human beings utilizes it. Electricity generated in power stations, however, is readily utilized because it is the product of human intellect and intelligence. Okay, electricity. He's saying that electricity generated at the okay, let's first of all, I should have don't have I should have the electricity generated at, because it has the human intellect and intelligent. That is why the physical energy cannot render the service unless guided by someone intellectual force. Okay, so any physical energy means he's saying that physical energy cannot be rendered service unless if it is guided by some intellectual force. So although you have the force energy, but if it is not guided, so it is of useless, futile. Physical force is a blind force. Those unaware of the fundamental difference between the physical force and the divine force often make the flippant remark. What is kind of flippant means? I think flippant is basically means not showing a serious or respectful attitude. Frivolous, superficial, shallow means I think thoughtless means unnecessary kind of thing. Okay, flippant remark. And that everything has come from the nature. But how is that possible? Nature does not have its own intellect, but it is simple the way in which the physical force has manifested itself. Nature cannot do anything on original. Although nature does have energy, but he's saying that there is nature cannot do all the things. Means it's a nature cannot do anything original. It cannot create such a well ordered universe itself. That's the thought of a author. If it is not an intellectual force but a blind force, the divine force walks behind it. Okay, there is a divine force which was the mind, the controller of the physical force, has evolved from the ectoplasm. Okay, so what is ectoplasm? Ectoplasm, basically ectoplasm is a term used in spiritualism to denote a substance or a spiritual energy. Okay, the creator of ectoplasm is an subtler. Who is subtler? The creator of ectoplasm. What is the meaning of subtler? Subtler is basically means subtler is some kind of precise. It is an adjective, especially of a change or distinction so delicate or precise, so as to difficult to analyze or describe. Okay, subtler entity. Creator of ectoplasm is even subtler entity, means it is very precise entity. And this is what we call the divine force. Okay, that is the supreme vibrational force. Okay, supreme vibrational force. Supreme vibrational force lies behind the vibrating entities, the entity which is great of Brihat in the divine force, okay, which is the most case direct guides of the physical forces. Okay, the guidance resulted in the creation of our universe, which follows a fixed set of rules. Under no circumstances, these rules can be violated. Sometimes the supreme entity controls the physical force through the medium of human intellect. Okay, there is a supreme energy. I think it's talking about God. Human beings build the cities and towns, construct power stations, organize different expeditions with the use of their intellect, and thus the supreme entity gets the work done through the human frames. If humans think that they work independently of the divine, they are mistaken. So actually what we are doing, the author is saying that it is all by the divine force. It is basically referring to the God. Param Purusha gets its work done through you, means we are just a medium for the Param Purusha. Means whatever we are all, means somebody, we all are Purush. Purush in the sense means we are just there, we are just we are just nothing in comparison of the Param Purush. Param Purush is basically the God himself. This is all about it. It is written by Sri Sri Anandamurthy. So Param Purusha get his work done through you. So this means he's basically trying to say that means whatever is being done is done by the some Param Purush. We are doing something, so we are just a medium. Means vibrational force lies behind all the vibrating entity. That entity which is great in this in the diverse force, which is the most cases the directly guides of the physical force. The guidance resulted in the creation of our universe, which follows the fixed set of the rules under no circumstances. Okay, that's enough. No need for any more discussion regarding.